Having your first 10K month is the biggest milestone for the majority of agency owners. I know it was for me when I first started 7 years ago, and I managed to hit it within just 90 days, which is pretty rapid. And since then, I've made millions with the business model, and I've even had clients pay me up to $50,000 for one single month of service. But it took a long time to get to this point. It certainly wasn't easy, and it took a lot of hard work. But I've seen other agencies get to that 10K month point even quicker than I have, a few of which I've mentored. And what I've recognized about hitting that holy grail of a six-figure agency is that it's methodical, and you need to take a specific path in order to reach it, and it certainly will not happen accidentally. So that's what I'm going to be breaking down today, how to hit that 10K a month point as quickly as possible and the exact path that you need to take. But before I do, I'm going to presume that you already have an agency at this point, or you are ready to start one. You know the foundations. If you want to learn the foundations, I recently put out a video about how to start an agency right now, even if you've got $0 in the bank. It's on my main channel. Go check it out. Put a link in the description and you can go watch that before you move on to this one, because you'll be jumping ahead. But presuming you already have the foundational knowledge, I just want to break down first of all what a $10,000 month actually looks like and the specific actions you need to take in order to reach it. Because a lot of people say, oh yeah, well, I want to make 10K a month for my agency, but I don't actually know what that means as far as the work that they need to do and the time they need to input to get to that point. To be able to figure out, okay, how am I going to hit 10K, specifically the actions I'm going to take, and what time frame is it actually going to take? Not based on the gut, not based on this hypothetical dream that I've got, not based on what my vision board says, based on real data and real numbers. And after we've broken this down, I'm going to go through what separates people that do hit this 10K a month point, okay, and the people that don't, okay, other than the money in the bank. So, 10K a month, what actually is this? Now, it's important to note that a lot of the stuff I'm going to be going through, there are a lot of variables when it comes to this. I'm going to be going and averaging things out, and I will then explain kind of variables as we progress. But let's just say, for argument's sake, and to keep these numbers nice and round, a 10K month is $10,000 clients. Okay, so that's what we're kind of looking at here. And then if we've got let's say a 25% close rate, that is 40 meetings. Now, I think it's important to note that a 25% close rate is going to be pretty bang on average for the majority of agencies out there that don't have a lot of experience. You might increase this to like 40% over time if you've got a really, really great offer and you've got more experience behind your belt. But certainly before 10K, you're not going to be getting more than a 25% close rate. This is going to be kind of where you're averaging out. Okay, so what we're then looking at, so 40 meetings at a 25% close rate, not all of those meetings are actually going to show up, okay? We're going to have a drop-off in show-up rate. That is completely normal. The average show-up rate that I see for new agencies, because they don't really have post-call booking flows dialed in and reminders and so on set up, is 60%. So on average, 60% of people will actually turn up to your course. Now, if you're wondering where I get this data from, I own an education academy. I've mentored over 4,000 agencies over the years in paid programs. And so I've seen people from all walks of life, with all different niches, with all different revenue levels. I have a huge amount of data when it comes to agency sales. And so these are the averages I see across the board, looking kind of at an international scope if we average out across multiple niches and services, etc. So 60% show-up rate is about standard. There are many people, of course, that will get more than this. There are people that will get less than this. Okay, so take everything with a pinch of salt, but this is based on real data. Okay, so then we need to break down the specific outreaches it takes in order to get those 65 meetings. So I'm going to presume, first of all, that you're getting to the 10K a month point just purely from outreach. We will go into some other variables that will help us get to this point quicker and shortly. But for now, let's just break this down with outreach. So just name that. Okay, so first of all, let me just open up a calculator on the right-hand side. Okay, so 65 meetings. If we're taking cold calls, for example, I see an average of a 4% meeting book rate when it comes to cold calls. That means on average, out of 25 cold calls, you should get one meeting. Okay, so that means with 65 meetings, it's 1,625 cold calls. Okay, on a 4% meeting book rate. So this is how many cold calls it's going to take in order for us to get those 65 meetings. And then let's say we've got our DMs as well. Okay, so DMs, we'll get an average of a 1% meeting book rate. It does drop pretty considerably when we're hiding behind the screen. I won't rant about that right now, but guys, like if you want to hit 10K a month quickly, you can't just be hiding behind the screen. You can't just be sending DMs. Now, I do believe, if you've been watching my content for a long time, you know I believe in a multi-platform strategy. I do think it is important to use a multitude of different strategies. So we hit people from all angles and not just rely on one. But you cannot just rely on DMs and emails, okay? DMs are a slight step above email, okay, but it's still kind of roughly, email is like a 0.5% meeting book rate on average. Yeah, 0.5% meeting book rate on average from email. So we're looking at 13,000 emails that you'd have to send to get these 65 meetings. Now, this isn't on the basis of doing all of these at the same time. This is just on the basis of doing one of these things, okay? So 13,000 emails, depending on your niche. Like if you're an e-commerce, it's going to be less than this. But depending on your niche, that's going to be getting 65 meetings, probably like more so lead generation, and probably... if you're e-commerce, it's going to be like 0.2% along those lines. Okay. So, and again, it depends on your scripts, depends on your offers, depends on variables. But if you've got everything nailed down, if you've got everything like to the average, then this is what you're going to be looking at. Okay. What else have we got? We also have door-to-door. I think it's like one of those things that's like really on the comeback at the moment is door-to-door. And door-to-door, honestly, 10% meeting book rate all day long. Some of you will get more than this. Like I used to get more than a 10% meeting book rate. It means 1 in 10 companies that you walk into, you'll get a meeting with. Okay, and that's on the basis that you don't like fumble over everything and you've got a relatively good strategy behind your belt. But door-to-door is truly on the comeback. And the reason why I think these things happen, just to sidetrack for a moment, the reason why I think these techniques kind of rotate in efficiency is because we go through periods in which people can be bothered to use them. Okay, so door-to-door has been something that it's been like a dead strategy that no one's used for a very long time in the agency space because everyone's been hiding behind DMs and emails and doing cold calls even. But door-to-door is really the hardest thing for you to do in this instance because you physically go out and have to spend your time. And this is one of the things that we need to consider when we are doing door-to-door. It's like, how much time have I actually got in order to do this? And so let's actually break that down. So if we're going door-to-door, okay, on average, you can, let's just say 25 doors per day. You can do more than this. I used to go door-to-door selling to estate agents, would go through like 50 doors in a day. It was pretty exhausting, so I want to go through what's actually maintainable for you. 25 doors in like 6 hours. All day long, you can bosh this out. Like some of you guys will be able to do this in 4 hours. It depends on how good you are. What I recommend, and this is something for another video, another time, make sure that you map out your journey. So you know, okay, I'm reaching out to all these companies in this area and you're driving around to that area. Especially if you're just getting started, this really only applies to you there because you can only really reach out to the local companies in your vicinity unless you want to go stay in different cities. You want to map out that journey in the day so you're not just zigzagging around and making it difficult for yourself. That's really important if you're doing door-to-door. And you could say, all right, well, surely I'm just going to deplete my local vicinity very quickly. And the answer is yes, you will, but the results you get from this are worth booking a hotel and staying in a different city, like in your other locality. I used to travel around a different city every single week in this door-to-door sales role that I was part of, and I made the company hundreds and hundreds of thousands in revenue. Okay, so what about cold calls? Let's break this down. Like I'm going to say 50 cold calls a day. So all of this stuff, all these metrics I'm going through, I'm really kind of like entry level. This is all very maintainable stuff. Like I've made way over 100 cold calls a day. I've got salespeople in my business making over 150 cold calls every single day right now. So if you're a high operator, you can make way more than 50 calls. But I'm just making this just applicable for you guys. I don't want anyone in the comments like, oh, well, what about you? You can't maintain 50 calls a day. Well, yes, you can. If you can't, you're fucking lazy. Okay. 100 DMs a day. Let's just say that's realistically going to take you about 5 hours. And then about the same time for emails, we can send 200 a day. Okay. So here we've got a better idea of the specific actions we need to take. Okay, so 200 emails a day, 13,000 emails total, 65,000 meetings. Now we can actually go ahead and break this down and reverse engineer this even further to establish the amount of time that it's going to take in order to actually hit this goal of 65 meetings and then eventually 10 clients at 1,000. Okay, so for 200 emails a day, okay, so 200. So what we're doing is we're dividing 13,000 by 200. So we're looking at 13 weeks. Okay. So if we're just emailing, we're looking at 13 weeks, give or take 13 weeks. I'm rounding this down to the nearest week. Now, this is where it gets a lot quicker, 6.5 weeks. If we're cold calling 50 companies a day, the more effort you have to put into something, the better results you're going to get. The more difficult it is, the better results you're going to get ultimately. Okay. And that's the same for everything in life. Nothing that is easy is worth doing in the long run, within reason. When it comes to business, all the most difficult shit that everyone isn't prepared to do, that's what gets the most results, but that is what you really want to be spending your time doing. It's all the difficult shit, okay? And so take this with a pinch of salt, but this is what we're kind of looking at if we're breaking down these individual strategies. But as I always say to you guys, I recommend a multi-platform strategy. So you obviously can't be doing 6 hours plus 4 hours, 10 hours, plus you can't be doing 15, you can't be working 20 hours a day, right? We can't be doing all of this. If we did do that, then we'd probably get our first 10K month within what is that going to be, 2 weeks, right? But what I do recommend you doing is following a multi-platform strategy. And so instead, right, we could break this down, and you can do this in whatever makes the most sense for you. So let's just say we were doing 5 doors a day. If we're doing 5 doors a day, that's just 1 hour of door-to-door a day. Okay, it gets you out of the house, it breaks up your routine. Anyone can maintain that. Okay, you need to figure out what's best for you, but I want you to really get an idea of the methodology behind understanding your numbers, because you can't say you've got a goal within a specific time frame if you haven't then reverse engineered the specific actions you need to take in order to do that. If you're saying, I want to make 10K in 90 days, but you don't know what you need to be doing every day to hit that goal, then you're an idiot. You're just running everything by the gut, and then you'll get to the final month and be like, oh shit, I'm not going to hit that goal. Yeah, because you haven't reverse engineered everything. You don't know what you actually have to do, right? So 50 calls is going to be, we can do the 50 calls, I think the bulk of cold calls, considering that the meeting book rate is very strong in cold calls, but then the time spent doing it is decent. I think cold calls 50 a day, that's very easy to maintain. You don't have to leave your seat for that. You can just sit down and you can be managing that. Okay, 25 DMs, that's going to be 1 hour. Breaking this down, and then let's do 50 emails, okay? So 50 emails, and this is not the exact strategy that you guys have to follow, of course, but this is just an example, okay? You can break this down in whatever way you want to, it has to be right for you. So this means that on the basis of 5 doors, we're going to get half a meeting per day. Okay, because I've got 10% meeting book rate, 10%, 5, half a meeting per day. All right? Now, you might say, well, how can you have half meetings? So we're talking about statistics here, probability. So over the course of a period of time, this probability will matter. Okay, so we do count the percentages when it comes to these things. 50 calls at a 4% meeting book rate, that is 2 meetings per day. 25 DMs at a 1% meeting book rate, that is a quarter. And then it's going to be the same for email. This is what we've got. And then what does that actually mean? How many meetings is that per day? 3 meetings per day across all of this outreach, spending 7 hours on outreach. And you could argue that's quite a lot, but I work 12-hour days all the time. So 7 hours doing someone like outreach, it's a piece of piss. You might say, well, Jordan, hang on, I thought you've made millions online. Why are you doing 12-hour days? Because I want to make fucking hundreds of millions, that's why. And because I love this shit, because I'm addicted to it, because I don't just run my business because I just want to make a small amount of money and just move on. I don't run my business to kill time. I run my business because I want to build an empire. I want generational wealth. I want to really make an impact on this industry. And for me, this isn't work. This is life. So, yeah, if you can't commit to 7 hours a day to fulfill your dreams, if you have 7 hours a day, that's important, and we'll touch on this shortly. If you have 7 hours a day, if you have full-time capacity, if you can't commit to that, then what are you doing? And sure, it doesn't have to be 7, it could be 5 hours outreach, fine. But if you've got full-time capacity and you're not spending 5 hours outreaching, 5 hours trying to acquire clients, when that is the single most important thing in the early stages of your business, why are you even watching this video on hitting 10K a month? Just coast. Just do whatever you can be asked to do, you lazy bastard. That's going to be 4 weeks. Now, is this realistic for most people? Probably not. Will someone be able to pull this off through statistics? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Are there going to be other variables that come into play that will get in your way here? Maybe you might do some free trials. You might screw up a couple of ad accounts. You might lack some motivation. You might get ill. So things and shit does happen. Things do get in the way, but it's always very good for us to work things out from a data standpoint, and so at least we have a baseline as to what we know we're working on, and we can set these goals. And then it doesn't matter if it takes 8 weeks, it takes twice the amount of time. At least we've set some very ambitious goals, and we've set some very specific actions we need to take in order to reach those goals. Okay, so if we get delayed, life just happens, okay? And it doesn't just mean that you're going to be getting free meetings every single day. We've got to remember this. Sometimes, okay, in the theme of life just happens, okay, we might get 0 meetings one day. We might get 3 meetings the next day. We might get 6 the next day. This is about the law of large numbers. This is about the law of probability. This is not about, okay, if you want a business model where like you can guarantee that every single day you're going to be getting your free meetings, like it's just not going to happen. And until you're running paid ads, okay, and paid ads are a little bit more... you can kind of trust that you're going to be getting a specific result within a specific time frame every single day. Until you're doing that and you're doing outreach, it's just not going to happen. Okay, so Monday we could be doing all these things exactly as we're doing, 7 hours of outreach. Monday we might get 0 meetings. At this point people are like, man, my strategy isn't working. It's not figuring itself out. And then Tuesday you got like 1 meeting, it's still not working. Like, how annoying, this is frustrating. But then Wednesday you might get 6 meetings. Okay, now most people give up at this point. Most people give up here, most people give up here. They then they don't do the full 7 hours, they just do 3 hours, and then all of their logistics are like screwed up, all of their probability and the data is screwed up. Okay, but people who understand the stuff that I'm going through right now, the people that hit 10k a month, they understand that through law of large numbers and through repetition and consistency, you will hit these goals. Okay, but you have to then be able to have a couple of days of shit and then be able to still stick to these goals. And then Wednesday, you're going to get 6 meetings. Okay, Thursday, you might only get your 3 meetings. Okay, you're on target. Okay, and then Friday, you might get your 5. Okay, oh, who cares? Maybe you get 4. Right, what is that? That is, how many meetings is that in the week? 14 meetings. Okay, so just a little bit under our target. We just about came in shot. Okay, but next week we might hit 16 meetings. The week after we might hit 18. Next week, God forbid, we might only get 2 meetings. So it's going to really, it's going to vary every single week. Okay, so it might be 2 per week. You get the idea. It might be 24 per week. It might be 8 per week, whatever it is, whatever's going on, as long as over the course of the month, we're getting in our meetings, we're getting in enough, we've got our variables are there, they literally could be moving from here to here. But the only thing that is going to mean that you don't get any results whatsoever is whether you give up on these fundamental targets. Okay, but all of this is going to feed into itself. Data is going to vary all the time. That is one thing that we absolutely can guarantee in this space. There is no predictability predictability only exists over a long period of time of consistency. Predictability does not exist day by day or week by week. Predictability exists month by month. Okay, and even then you can have really shit months, and then over the course of the year everything levels out and it all makes sense. Okay, but we have to stay consistent with our specific targets. Okay, so let's just get those basics out of the way. And I want to explore with you guys the variables that can come into play that are going to manipulate this data, both positively and also negatively, okay? Because things aren't always going to go this exact way. You're not always going to get 10k a month in 4 weeks in this idealistic situation. You might not even hit your 10k a month in 13 weeks by sending you 13,000 emails. And if you are following a multi-platform strategy, so what are the variables that can get in the way? First of all, let's go into the variables that can... let's go into the negatives first. So let's break this down. So what are some negative things that can get in the way of this? Well, what about if our close average value of a customer is 500, okay? Well, we're going to need 20 clients, and then we're going to need 130 meetings instead, okay? Well, what about if our close rate is 10%? Well, that's going to massively impact as well. We're going to need an awful lot of more meetings. We're going to need 2.5 more meetings than we got there. What about if our show-up rate is 40%? And these things are all possible. I've seen all of these things happen. So Like, you best bet that it is possible that this can happen to you, but you have to be mindful of these things, and you have to be considering the things that are going to get in the way of this actually happening, okay, or your data being manipulated. And this is one of the things that I teach very rigorously inside of our program. It's like how to diagnose these issues. Okay, you've got a show-up rate issue. Well, this is how we fix it. These are the methods that we can use that have been proven. Okay, you've got a close rate issue. Well, let's listen to your sales calls. Let's break them down. Let's have them actually reviewed by a sales coach so you know where you're screwing up. Oh, you're closing clients for too low. Well, what's the problem with your perception of value? Is the service not strong enough? Do you not believe in the service? Are you portraying enough value in the meetings? Let's listen to those meetings, you know. What's your meeting book rate? Are your scripts good? Is your offer actually good? Okay, and we can break this down in diagnosis. This is why we spend the majority of our time in our program. We coach people through based on their real data, okay, and we have to break this down. And I'm going to touch on some of the fundamental things that you can do in order to make sure this doesn't happen in a moment. But before we do, let's just explore the positive end of this spectrum as well, okay? How can we positively impact this data? Because sure, we might sign up 20 clients on 5,000, but we might also sign up 5 clients on 2,000. In fact, this is much closer to my story. I think I had like 7 or 8 clients to hit the 10K a month point. A few of those clients were at 2K. Okay, so I was making a lot more money with the clients that I actually had. And that's key, really. You want to make sure that over time, it's only really kind of your first like 3 clients where you're getting good results. Are you really messing around the $1,000 point? Unless you're really stuck in low ticket lead gen, you don't really want to be charging $1,000 for too long. And certainly not any free trials. That's only really going to be your first few clients for free trials to get your case studies underway. But you want to increase that value as soon as possible. And the way that we increase value is, of course, increasing the value of our service by being able to deliver an exceptional service. Okay, well, what about close rate? Well, this can be up to 40% close rate. Okay, there's been many a period of time that we've been closing at 40% within our agency. In fact, we're about 35% on average at the moment close rate in the agency. And kind of a big considerable factor that comes into that is not just is not just our sales ability, but also the quality of the lead that is on the call. So we pick and choose who we work with now. So we actually dequalify a lot of the leads. So if we didn't, it'd probably be more like 50%. Okay, 80% show up rate is pretty standard at a certain operational level when you've got great case studies, when people are seeing your post-call booking flows and they're excited about working with you. They can see your case studies online. Like, you can easily get an 80% show up rate. And then we have an increased meeting book rate. So if your offer is particularly enticing on your outreach, okay, these all feed into each other, of course, as well. If your cold calling script is on point, your door-to-door strategy, the better you get, the more time you spend on this, the better your meeting book rate will be. And then, of course, just like more hours. Like, if you've got more hours in the day to spend on the agency, more input equals more output. That's pretty obvious, right? But after a certain operational level, it's not about your more hours, but it's also about things like automation. Okay? So using software in order to help you send more emails. We send 5,000 emails a day. I actually think we just downscaled that to about 3,000 because we're having a bit of a niche test at the moment within our space. But we send thousands of emails every single day, new emails every single day, and have done for a very long time in our agency. And we get very good results from it, right? And it's all through automation software with, of course, an appointment setter actually managing that software. So it's not completely hands-off because we still need to do the lead generation, etc., which takes a little bit of time. And, of course, we need to actually respond to the leads as well and make sure we're doing that in an efficient manner. But, yeah, automation, you can also automate a lot of DMs. You can't automate calls or door-to-door. That does take a human to actually go ahead and do that for you. But automation massively helps. And, of course, team. You know, I mentioned appointment setters, but you've got appointment setters, you build a whole team that is actually doing outreach for you. Now, of course, you don't need that before you hit 10K a month, but this is how we go from 10K a month to 50K, 100K. We leverage other people's time, okay? Because it's no longer about what's the personal input. These hours become vastly irrelevant. We can figure out exactly what a team member is worth for us, how much money a setter can make for our business. We reverse engineer those numbers, and then we just scale out that team in order to hit the financial figure that we're trying to hit. hit right now. So whether you want to make 100K a month and you're already at 20K a month, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I can record another video on this if you'd like me to. If you want me to create an agency scaling video, 100K a month, drop a comment down below and I'll break this down for you guys, okay? The key, if you've got big goals in your agency and you want to hit, let's say 100K, it's understanding what it has taken you to get to the point that you're at right now in your agency, and then reverse engineering all of the data and all the steps that you need to take in order to get that point, and then considering all the variables that you've got, all the leverage that you can take advantage of. And that's one thing that we can touch on right now, is the additional value here, the additional ads, the additional leverage that we've got in order to actually acquire clients in this instance. How can we speed all this up? There are way more ways to speed things up than there are to make things slower. Paid ads being one of them. Now, do I think you need to run paid ads to get to 10K a month? No, I don't. I think you can get to 10K a month by just focusing on really good high quality outreach. So you don't need to do that. You can do it if you've got a good offer. But what I would recommend you doing is content. Okay, so when you've got a couple of clients under your belt, just start documenting your journey, start documenting what you're working on, start educating. Content really is king these days. I've all heard that. Like, Gary Vee's been shoving it down everyone's throat for years, okay? And then Alex Hormozy came along and everyone started taking it seriously. Content has always been king. I've made millions from the content that I put out online, okay? Provide value to people and they will think, well, wow, if he's giving me this for free, what is he going to give me for paid? And you just need to make sure your paid shit is even fucking more valuable, which it is, your done for you service. So put out content online, document. Referrals, massive. You will get referrals under the 10K a month point. You deliver a good service for your clients, you are going to be getting referrals. And what I recommend you doing is, when you do get that kind of peak happiness level, you hit those levels with your clients because you've got them a quick win, whatever that quick win looks like for your agency, depending on your service. Okay, we want to try and focus on them as quickly as possible. Jump on your clients. One of my biggest regrets in the agency in general is presuming that you're always going to have leverage, is thinking that, and I've had so many clients that we've got such incredible results for, who we've just been so caught in the weeds and scaling the business, scaling the team, that we've just forgotten to leverage the success. We forgot to reach out to the client when they hit peak happiness, when they're shouting about us from the rooftops and say, hey man, like, do you mind recording a testimonial for us? Can we get a video from you? Can we get a written testimonial from you? Can you give us a referral? Okay, jump on that leverage as soon as you possibly can, because it won't be around forever. Partnerships. This is a big one. Partnerships with other agencies, partnerships with softwares. These are all things that we can build as we get more credibility. But all of these things come down to delivering a good service. Like, we can't get, I mean, yeah, you could get to 10K a month without delivering a good service. Like, you could. You're not going to last at 10K a month. You definitely could get there though. But these things, referrals, partnerships, paid ads, content, it depends on the good service. You're not going to be putting out good content about a specific niche and about delivering results if you don't know how to actually deliver the service. And so that needs to be our number one priority, is like, how can I deliver the best service possible, and then stack on these things afterwards, but not getting sidetracked for them. Understanding that outreach alone can and will get you to $10,000 a month, but you need to be able to stick to those goals in the early stages. And this is where most people lack. Okay, they set targets like this. We set these goals. They say, oh, they know exactly what they need to do. Many people do, okay? Some of you guys are watching this thinking, wow, I haven't thought about this before, and I haven't broken it down on this level. Well, some people have. Some people know, because let's say they've gone through coaching, and I've even spoken to loads of individuals, and I've said, these are the specific actions you need to take in order to get to the point that you want to get to. And they know everything they need to do, but they can't do it, okay? They struggle to actually put in the work. And that's pretty normal. Like, I don't think you're an idiot for that happening to you. I think most people vastly underestimate how short-lived motivation can be. Motivation comes in bursts, and it's not something that lasts for a very long time. And I think we underestimate that. Some of you watching this video right now will be so pumped on the information that I'm giving you. You're like, I'm going to hit 10K a month from an agency. You'll come away from it, life will get in the way. You'll have an argument with your missus, or something's happened with your job. You just got a promotion, you got sidetracked. You suddenly got self-conscious about the fact that you're fat. Like, whatever. Like, life just gets in the way, and your priorities shift, and all of a sudden, like, what you wanted to achieve 6 months ago is completely different to what you want to achieve now. And then you get another cycle of like 12 months go by, and you're like, shit, man, like, it was only 12 months ago I was watching this video that Jordan put out about scaling an agency to 10K a month. You know, I knew exactly what I needed to do, but I couldn't fucking put myself to it every single day. Like, so why is that? You know, like that's what I really want to explore today. I think this is like foundational work, which is really important. You have to understand these things. You have to understand specifically the actions that you need to take. You need to start thinking. If you want to be a high performance agency owner, you need to think about the specific actions and breaking things down by the data. This is a data driven business. Okay. But this is what I really wanted to get into today. It's like, how the fuck do you actually stick to this? You know, because most people can't do that. So how do we do that? Like, and these are the things that like most people don't have in check. Now, some of these things are going to be, if I started the video going through this stuff, some of these things you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to watch a video on this because like, I've heard it 1,000 times, right? But I'm hoping, okay, in the context of what I've already gone through, you're going to listen to this and you're going to hear me out on this, because I cannot stress enough how little fluff this is right now and how fundamentally important this is to my success and how fundamentally important this has been to everyone else's success that I've ever coached, that I've ever seen build a successful agency in the past, okay? Now, there are people that I know that I've coached that they're not getting 2K a month clients, okay? I've said I've had 50K a month clients. I've students that are making literally signing 30K a month clients, okay? I'll see if I can get up a message from one of our our mastermind students recently, a guy called Nicholas from Larson Digital, killing it. He worked with us from zero and he has now got a 100K a month agency. He signs up clients and gets retainers for like $30,000. Like, I'm pretty sure he sent me an invoice recently. I'll see if we can throw it up somewhere so you can see this. Like, how do you get to that point, okay? Those individuals went through the shit and stuck to this stuff. What did they actually do? This stuff fundamentally matters. Every single person that's done this has achieved this in this way, okay? We need to have our basics in check. We need to have our routine in check. And I'm going to go through 5 things right now, okay? 5 things that are fundamentally important, okay? And we're going to start off with routine. Now, I don't care if you look at this kind of stuff as if it's like la-di-da, personal help, like self-help book drivel, and you discount it. Because if you do, you're a fool. If you think that you can just gain the knowledge on building a successful agency and you just like, okay, I've got the outreach scripts, I've got the sales strategies, I've got the motivation right now, and you think that that's going to carry you across to actually building a successful agency, but your life is in fucking ruin because your mindset is bad, you've got brain fog every day, you've got bad people around you, your routine is shit, you're eating shit, you're not exercising, you are not going to last 1 month. Bottom line. Okay, if you want to hit 10K a month, you need to be an elite person. You yourself need to be a success before the business that you touch is going to be successful. Okay, so how are we going to do this? I'm not going to I can get so granular into this, but I'm going to break down just the fundamentals right now. Okay, and the first thing is timing. Okay, so looking at timing, what do I mean by this? I mean, like, how much time do we actually have to work in our business? Like, as we've established here, we need time in order to do these things. We need to put in the work to achieve our goals. Okay, so what time have we actually got? Well, we need to dig around, and all of this is different. And say, okay, so when I started my agency, my goal was I wanted to get out of my job as quickly as possible, and so I wanted to replace my outgoings. So I figured out exactly how much money I needed to make in order to replace my outgoings. I knew how many clients that it was going to be. I knew it was going to be like 2 clients. And then I set myself a goal. Okay, I'm going to do this inside of a month. I managed to do it within 2 weeks. And the key was I found a time in my life. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've got kids. I don't care where you're based in the world. Everyone can find time. Okay, it's going to be harder for some of you than it is others. Some of you are going to have less time than others, but everyone can find time. We need to replace the useless time that we're already spending, maybe watching Netflix. We need to replace the things that we're doing, spending time with toxic relationships. We need to replace watching games or watching porn, whatever we're doing with our time. We need to find time somewhere. I was waking up at like 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. every morning, rushing around, going to work. I had a terrible morning routine. I found time in the morning and started waking up at 5 a.m., read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, completely changed my life. I found time in the morning. That's when I studied. That's when I lead generated. And then on my lunch, I outreached. And in my early evening, I outreached on the drive home from work. And then I sent emails in the evening and DMs. I found the time. I used to watch TV. I was watching like Love Island or some bullshit. Yeah. Find time or find excuses. It's your choice. Okay. So timing is really, really important. And then dopamine. Okay. We all heard this term like dopamine detox. Okay. And I don't think you need to necessarily dive straight into a dopamine detox. You can if you want to. Like it does really help. I still do one every couple of months, or when I just feel the need to do so. We live in a world where we are so overstimulated that it is so hard to focus on hard tasks and difficult shit. This is not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fun. You might have a couple of days a week where you're like, oh, that cold calling session was great. I got 6 meetings, right? How do you think you're going to feel tomorrow when you got no meetings? Like, you're going to feel like a bag of shit. You're going to have every single ounce of your body is going to reject the idea of jumping on the phones the next day. But we have to trust in the process, but that through the rule and law of large numbers, this is how we're going to get success. Not by slacking off, not by delaying, not by doing 3 hours tomorrow instead of 7 hours. Like, we have to be able to do the hard shit. And to be able to do that, we need to understimulate ourselves. Okay. So phone is not even, I don't even know where my phone is right now. The phone I have out of sight all the time. It's normally sat on the desk behind me, so it's away and I can't look at it. If your phone is on your desk in front of you, subconsciously you're going to get the urge to pick it up. That's really important. Okay, what other cues have we got? Reading your phone or looking at your phone first thing in the morning. Use the downtime function on your iPhone. You can set it to like 9 a.m. so you can't even open apps on your phone. We have these. What you'll recognise, I challenge all of you guys to do this, by the way. I want you to write down, I want you to set downtime on your phone and then have a look at how much you compulsively pick up your phone and flip through Instagram or TikTok or something like that. You'll be shocked, okay? I'm someone that's very strict on my dopamine. I still do that and I like compulsively open it. I want to get an idea of your current circumstances. I want to get an idea. I want to collect some data on where you guys are actually at so I can get an idea of like kind of who is actually, what demographic is watching this kind of content, so I know how to better serve you guys in future content. So I want to know the position you're in right now and the goals that you have in your agency. So where are you at right now? What are the goals that you got in your agency? And to make it worth your while, 1 in 100 people that comment will be randomly selected. I'll give you a coaching call with me, and we will jive in for half an hour, get through whatever bottleneck you're facing in your business right now. But drop a comment down below. Let me know, where are you at right now? I want to know, I want to get an idea, I want to collect some data on you guys and just see who we're talking to. I'm going to be starting to put out more advanced content on this channel. My main channel is going to really just be kind of beginner content. This channel, I'm going to go through the more experienced agency owner stuff. What I would love to do, I've been a 7-figure agency for a very long time now. I coach multi 7-figure agencies. I even have 8-figure agencies in my mentorship. I know a lot about building high-level agencies, a lot more so even than complete beginner content these days, because it's closer to where I am. And so I would love to be able to create more advanced content on this channel. I just want to know who is watching this content and see if you want that, drop a comment down below. Let me know, okay? I need your feedback. Okay, outside of routine, let's go through health. I don't want to lag on this stuff. Like, it is so important, but I could talk about this for hours. I literally got modules and modules, hours worth of content inside of our program on this stuff. Health is so important. Like, your health should be your main priority above your business. If you prioritize your health over if you prioritize your business over your health, I don't respect you, because you are sacrificing the single most important thing. We want a successful business so we can thrive in life. How can you thrive in life if your health isn't in check? Okay, so if you're eating like shit on a daily basis, okay, then your brain is going to be like shit. If you're eating loads of carbs and you're having breakfast all the time, you're going to have so much brain fog, you're not going to be able to concentrate to do all this stuff, and you're going to be fighting an uphill battle. Okay, if you want to be sharp and you want to be able to stick to your targets, you need to either, you can fast, which can help. I fast until about 1 p.m. You can do that, or just have a kind of protein and fat rich breakfast and try and avoid carbs as possible. Even if you don't avoid carbs entirely, just avoid refined carbs like breads and so on, and try and do that for your lunch as well. Trust me, when you do that, like, diet is the single most important thing. I'm a biohacker. I take 40 supplements every single day, but diet is the thing that makes the biggest impact. When people talk to me about what supplements I take, the first thing I ask them is what their diet is like. Okay, so try and have a high protein, high fat diet, low carbs until dinner. Eat as many carbs as you want at that point. Okay, exercise is another big one. Okay, exercise at least 3 times a week. Like, this truly has a massive impact on your mental clarity, on your mental state. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel better about the way that you look. That's going to build more confidence, more conviction. Conviction is everything when it comes to selling a service to anyone, especially when it comes to like a sales call, etc. And so we want to have just more confidence and more ability and more energy. Okay, more exercise, healthier life, more energy, more fucking everything. Okay, just don't be a bum. Get out there, move yourself. Like, it really does make a massive difference. And again, I can say I am someone that had none of this shit in check. Like, I was a complete mess when I first started my business, an absolute mess. I was a scrawny little rat. I never exercised. I ate like shit. I woke up late. I would shower. Sometimes I wouldn't even shower before I went to work. My dopamine was all kind of screwed up. I was addicted to my phone, addicted to porn. I was useless. Okay, so I've been in a position, and it is literally like superhuman powers when you get this shit sorted. Like, this stuff does not matter if you do not have this stuff in check. It is not worth even considering any of this shit if you do not have have this stuff in check. It is that important, okay? Okay, supplements. I get asked this all the time. Supplements, yes, you can take a bunch of supplements that are going to help you, that are going to make you more efficient, only if diet and exercise is in check. Don't consider supplements if diet and exercise is in check, so let's do those things first. If you want to know a couple, like I've got a massive list of like 40 supplements that I take, again, in our program, but a couple that'll really help you are ginkgo biloba, alpha GPC, L-theanine, magnesium, L-threonate for your sleep. Okay, sleep is another massive thing I haven't gotten here. Get a lot of sleep. Yeah, cool. That'll get you started as far as your focus and your mental alertness is concerned. If you want a kind of an all-in-one stack, just for you guys that just want an easy path, you could take Qualia Mind. Qualia is a really great supplement. Let's go down a little bit further. Let's get this sorted. So what else we got? Visualization. This is a biggie. Visualization. What's going on? Visualization. Is that right? That doesn't look right. Okay, we'll just say it is. Okay, so get really clear on what you actually want and the reasons why you want a 10K month agency. Like, get very clear on it right now, and then don't presume that you're going to remember it forever and that's going to carry you forward. Okay? What we want changes over a period of time based on our routine, based on our lifestyle, based on the people that we're around, based on everything, okay? And we can lose track of what we actually want, and we can get sidetracked and influenced by other people online, okay? And actually, sometimes we can get so caught up in what other people are doing on like Instagram that their vision becomes our vision, and we lose track of our original vision, and therefore we lose motivation because what we think we want isn't actually what we want because it doesn't align with our initial goals, okay? So it's really important to do a vision board. I used to have one on my desk, like I look at it every single day. It was just sat here. It was a pin board and it had all the things that I wanted. The car I wanted, the girlfriend I wanted, the house I wanted, like everything, okay? This is not a cringy thing to do. Like if you're cringed out by doing this, like get over it, because vision boards truly work. It's that complete repetition of this is who I'm going to be, and then over time you just embody that person. You become the person that deserves all of that shit on your board, okay? So create one. It's a creative project. Do it once. It's there. You can add to it over time. You need it in your office. Ideally, if you're looking at your desk right here, you want it somewhere around you so you see it in your peripheral vision every day. You will literally manifest that lifestyle, okay? And go another step further and have post-its, okay? I used to have post-its underneath my desk. Actually, only until recently I had post-its. I normally have them on like really important tasks and projects that I'm working on that I can't forget. Like no matter what to-do list you've got, no matter what calendar productivity tool that you're using, you will forget the most important things and you will drop priorities throughout the day. If you set a post-it to remind yourself, okay, these are the most important things that I should be working on right now, okay? AKA, put these. This is what I'm saying. So have your 50 calls on there, okay? Have your 25 DMs, or better yet, have a scoreboard, have it on the side of the wall and have a tally, okay? So every single day you have to tick that tally off, and if you miss a day, it's there. You can see Tuesday, no cold calls, and you're like, shit, I really screwed up this week. I'm not going to do that next week. I'm going to make sure I got it all ticked off. Have that visual cue. It's very easy to brush it under the carpet if you don't hit your goals this week, okay? If you've got nothing visually to remind you of that. You want something to remind you of the times that you're shit and you're lazy. And then when you have that, it's going to make you better next time round, okay? Visualization really is key. Please do not skip any of these things. I could go so deep into so many different elements here, but these are like trying to break down the absolute fundamentals. Support, so key. If you're trying to go at this alone, you're trying to hit 10K, then you're going to struggle if you don't have any support network. Now, thankfully, there are free groups that you can join. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be part of good support groups. For example, we have the agency owners community. I'll put a link in the description. It's completely free for you to join at the moment. Okay, and there are thousands and thousands, about 30,000 other agency owners in there. Now, granted, 95% of those people are beginners, but there are going to be some really high quality people in there as well that you can speak to. And the key is qualified peers, okay? You want to be making sure that you have support from qualified peers, okay? So you want to reach out to people that are a similar level to you, that are similar level intellectually, people that you actually respect, people that are qualified to give you an opinion. The worst thing that you can do in the early stages is be scheming with people that haven't yet achieved what you want to achieve. Sure, you can do that as like little bursts of inspiration. You can get an accountability partner, etc. It's one of the things I'll touch on in a second. But if you want actual support and you want guidance from someone, those individuals need to be qualified, okay? They need to have achieved what you want to achieve. Because what we're trying to get here is not just information from them and like more knowledge, but we're trying to get accountability, right? We want to get accountability to actually stick to these individual tasks, okay? Because if someone else is committed to this and they're doing this on a daily basis and they're committed to hitting 10K within a certain time frame, whatever time frame they've actually set, okay, and you are lagging behind and you are slacking, that's going to give you the kick up the arse to put in the work to make it happen for yourself, okay? So get yourself an accountability partner. Okay, someone that's on the same journey as you, someone that's at a similar point to you, or just a little bit above or a little bit behind, who wants to get to the point at the same period. You check in with them every single day, or you check in with them every single week, and you see exactly where they're at, and you hold each other accountable to your success. This is so invaluable. This is why business partners work so well. Because when you have a business partner, if you slack today, they're working, you can't do that. Morally, it just does not work, okay? If you've got a business partner, every single day you have to be on it, because if not, you're going to lose that business partner. The company just simply isn't going to work. That's why so many successful agencies, like myself with Joe, like so many, okay? We have Joe and Ollie from Soar with us. These guys started an agency whilst they were in university with us, okay? Let's see if I can load something up on screen. These guys started with us at university. There's an interview literally years ago, and they were at zero when they started working with us, and we took them under mentorship. These guys have worked together for years now. They now make over $500,000 a month within their agency. They are absolutely dominating the UK e-commerce space. They just bought out another 7-figure agency who is inside the academy as well. Lucas from Hamby Media just had this merger, this acquisition. It was beautiful. All of these guys started from zero with us. They all understood these key fundamental traits. They all had support from their peers. They all had accountability partners and people to keep them going, okay? And that is key. The most successful people out there in this industry have had accountability in some way, shape or form. They have had support in some way, shape or form. These things alone will not get you there. You have to have external motivation. Your personal motivation will only get you so far, okay? Because mediocrity will creep in, okay? We can go a step further than that. Coaching. And I don't care, by the way, guys, if this is through me or through anyone else. Like, if you don't resonate with the way I speak, the way I coach, the way I teach, you don't have to get coaching by me. I don't need you to do that. We get enough people acquiring every single month. We're way too many people, okay? But coaching is fundamental to success. When you have specific questions, when you need support, when you want to overcome a specific issue, I invest over 100,000 every single year into various coaching programs, into mentorship, into mastermind, because I know that I have yet so much to learn. If I'm trying to achieve something, let's say, at the moment, we are currently creating a live event. It's going to be absolutely incredible. You guys are going to hear about it soon. But I've never hosted a proper live event before, right? And so what can I do? My options are, I can watch as much videos as I want about it. I can even buy a couple of courses about it. But what about all these extra questions I've got? What about all these unanswered situations? What about these if this, then that? What about all these variables that I do not understand because I haven't got the fundamental experience? Well, what about I just pay someone a lump sum of money who has already done the thing that I'm trying to do, and they can give me all those variables and I can expedite my learning curve. So now instead of having to host 10 live events and probably fail on a bunch of them and then to learn those lessons, I can skip all of that by downloading the brain of someone else who's already achieved the shit. That is the key. That is the hack. All successful agency owners do this. If they lack knowledge, they treat that knowledge gap like it's something modular that they can use their resources, their financial resources for, to just download information into their brain. Like, that's how knowledge expansion works. At a certain operational level, we cannot fail forward anymore. We have to take coaching and help from other people. I will always pay people for their help, and I will never be so naive to believe that I can go about everything myself. I would much rather pay money and sacrifice capital in order to expedite time when it comes to failing forward. Okay, so coaching is absolutely fundamental, and all these people that I've mentioned have had coaching. Okay, Lucas, Ollie from Soar, like every single person that we've ever worked with has hit 6, 7 or 8 figures, has had coaching. Okay, and ultimately this comes down to having a mentor, okay? You can get coaching from multiple different people. You can have an accountability coach like we have in our program, where we'll coach you one-to-one over the course of a 90-day period and hold your hand through the process of hitting 10K a month. But then also, ultimately, you need a mentor which is in the position that you want to be in, okay? It's good to have one or two mentors at any one time, depending on what you want to achieve. And again, I'm not here to sell you on this right now. I don't care if you work with me or anyone else, but I am stressing the importance of these things. These things will expedite your process exponentially. You will not be able to hit 10K a month or 100K a month anywhere near as quick as someone else who has this unfair advantage against them, okay, or on their side. Now, if you do want to invest in yourself, great. Like, you can click the link in the description. You can book a call with my team. Like, we don't accept everyone, and we'll only work with you if we genuinely believe you'll be successful with this. And we'll literally guarantee you 5 of your next clients within the next 90 days if you join, and we get every single penny back that you spend with us, of course. But we don't want you to just do that. We want you to make hundreds of thousands with us over the course of years if you stick to all of your targets and you have all of these things in check, okay? This is how the fuck you do it. This is how you build a successful agency. You need all of these things in check. Do not even consider these micro numbers, this outreach, all of these little things you need to do, your referrals, your partnerships, your paid ads. You're not going to get to this point unless you have these fundamentals in check. So strongly consider and weigh these things up. Write these things down and look at your life at the moment. If you want to go study this in your own time, I'll put a link in the description as well, probably above the book of calling, and you can sign up to my newsletter. If you sign up to the newsletter, the first email you'll get from me will be an email delivering this sheet to you, and you can break this all down yourself in your own time. You can study it. You can make sure you've got these things in check. If you want to get even more granular in this, of course, book a call with our team and we can discuss how we can help you master this area of life. So guys, this is how you build a 10K a month agency in the shortest time frame possible. Drop a comment down below and let me know where you are right now. I want to know where you're at so we can create more advanced content for you in the future. Whoa, I'm worked up. And that's it for now. See you soon. Bye-bye.